My name is Kevin Martin, and I've helped hundreds of students gain admission to their dream schools while staying sane. I wrote the book Surviving the College Admissions Madness, and one of my favorite aspects of writing the book was researching what previous educators and critics decades ago said about the college application process. And I'm here to tell you that our college admissions madness isn't new. Few families realize that the admissions madness isn't a recent phenomenon. Reading articles from 50 and even 100 years ago could be written just the same today. The two things that have changed the most in the past 50 years is the prevalence of social media and the sky-high application numbers relative to the same number of scarce admission spaces. In another video, I discussed the history of holistic review, but in this one, I want to point out how America has always had a uniquely bizarre admissions process. The earliest mention of elite college admissions as we know it today comes from a 1907 New York Times critique by Carnegie Mellon's eventual second president, a guy named Thomas Stockton Baker. His headline may sound shockingly familiar to readers today. Getting into college has become a very serious problem. The vagaries of the necessary requirements to admission to leading institutions is becoming more pronounced every year, a consideration of the baneful effect of chaotic conditions, which definitely sounds like something from the early 1900s. But his message then applies the same today, that things are just out of control with the amount of application requirements and inconsistencies among universities. There was another article written 6 decades later in 1965, right around the same time as the Civil Rights Movement, by Fred E. Crossland in the journal The Phi Delta Kappan, and he raises the same concerns that I present in my book and also in these admissions videos. Crossland wrote, "Because of our collective failures in both secondary and higher education, we have come close to making access to our colleges and universities a shambles. For tens of thousands of our young people, we have made college admissions a traumatic experience. We may have seriously damaged the senior year of high school. We have created unnecessary tensions. And we have been wasteful of our national human resources." In that same journal, another author wrote about the college admissions rat race through the eyes of the student. Other authors in that same journal wondered which international students universities should admit, or considerations about college access for African Americans and other marginalized populations. Since the 1960s, as part of the Civil Rights Movement, educators and policymakers have questioned the utility of the SAT. Educators and critics began questioning racial bias in the SAT and whether a single exam can accurately forecast a student's future achievement. The former director of New York's Millbrook School writes in a letter to the New York Times editor on May 24, 1960, that a 17 or 18-year-old is a complex organism, capable of growth or stagnation, of creative or unimaginative thinking. The boy or girl with the highest test score does not always follow the predicted path in life. Around the same time, elite universities began having way more applications than their campuses could accommodate. The New York Times reported on April 24, 1963, that the 8 Ivy League and 7 Sisters campuses received over 58,000 applications for a total of around 10,600 admitted seniors. The article read, "Heartbreak and frustration are inevitable when so many young people compete for so few spaces. Then as now, educators and teachers emphasize that where you go is not necessarily who you will become." But the article notes that spaces at state universities are also becoming increasingly competitive, with fewer universities practicing open enrollment, with admission spaces available to everyone who's at least finished high school, which was driven in part by increasing numbers of out-of-state applicants. So the essential takeaway from this video is that the admissions madness dates back to at least 3 generations. Neither your parents nor your grandparents' generation or any of your teachers or high school principals created this system. It's been around for so long that few students and educators take a step back and wonder how this insane application and admissions process came to be. Questioning the origins of the admissions madness will help you get in while staying sane. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can find my email in the information section of this video, so feel free to reach out if you're interested in working together.